Hey, it's Laura Pearman, and this is another Laura Pearman vlog. This is our 10th episode, so woohoo, really pleased to celebrate that. And I've decided from here on in, I'm only going to celebrate every 10th episode. I don't think there's any point in having a party every time every single episode rolls around. So for me, it's going to be a milestone on every 10th. So let's get straight to it. I have a really cool question this time around, and this question is from Tim Taylor. Tim is an ex-journalist and he's now embarking on a new and exciting career in PR. Tim asks, of all the photos you have ever taken, which is the one that has had the most dramatic impact? Plus, why and how has it become your biggest success story? Well, you can tell that he is a professional question asker, can't you? He's jammed in about 4 questions in one question. Nice work, Tim. So let's dig into this, shall we? So I think my biggest, the most dramatic and most impactful photo shoot so far in my career has to be the one that got me seriously thinking about shooting just headshots. And I think if we could roll the clock back round to about 2014, that has to be the headshot session I did for my business buddies Andrew and Pete. So if you want to take a look, these are the photos that we shot on that session. That's them there. So they were the atomic explosive headshots that we did, and I know the guys are still using them in some of their speaker showreel pictures, and sometimes I think I've seen them on pull-up banners that they have, and I know they always get a really good reaction whenever they use them. So it's working great for their career. But the reason they're significant for me and my career is because at the time I still had a portraiture studio when I did those shots, and I remember the guys came in and we were having coffee and a catch up like we usually do, and they were telling me about this idea that they had called Atomic. Well, Atomic's huge now if you want to go and check it out, but Atomic was going to be this membership kind of community that they wanted, and it was going to be for small businesses where small businesses from all different walks of life could come and get some ideas on how they could improve the marketing for their business. And I was like, right, okay, cool. What do you want me to do about it, kind of thing. They were like, so we need some headshots. I was like, right, okay, let's just do some headshots, no problem. And I wasn't charging enough for these at the time because it was just kind of a side thing that I did. And a lot of photographers still do this now. They do weddings, babies, families, all kinds of different things. And headshots is kind of an afterthought. It's like, well, yeah, I've got a studio, I've got some lights, I've got a camera. Yeah, I'll pop off some damn headshots, no problem. So we arranged, and the guys popped by just wearing normal stuff. No planning went into it. They came in, we did a session. We had another bunch of coffee, some cakes or something, whatever I had kicking about in the studio. I always used to have things floating around, maybe an old salad or something. And then they went home. And I remember sending the pictures over to them, and I got a phone call from Pete. Now, I always say, whenever you get a phone call from Andrew, it's good news. You get a phone call from Pete, it's not good news. So Pete was like, he gave me all these marketing expressions. He was like, yeah, the pictures, Laura, they're just not dynamic enough. They're not really explosive enough. I'm not really feeling a lot of energy. And I'm thinking, yeah, all right, mate, wait, what are you talking about? So I was like, right, they're not happy. So whenever anybody wasn't happy, I was like, yeah, fine, you can have a reshoot, no problem. So I said, look, just come by and we'll have a chat about it. You know, we'll have some beers after work or something. So we met up again and we had a chat about it, and Pete with these blooming comments. He was like, yeah, you know, it's just not really feeling, you know, it's not like explosive. We're not feeling enough. It doesn't say atomic. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, I'm thinking, yeah, whatever, mate. Yeah, great. So he was like talking about this, and Andrew was in agreement. And then after a while, I just got irritated and I was like, shall I blow you up? Should we just blow you up? Would that be good enough? And they like looked at each other and then looked back to me and they were like, yeah, let's do that. So I was like, right, okay, we'll shoot next week then. So I went off, and then I started doing all this research into like pyrotechnics, the ways that I can blow these guys up without like harming them. And then I went to go and see the receptionist in the little unit block where I was, and made a little deal with her that if the fire alarms went off, she wouldn't let the call go through to the fire brigade, so I wouldn't get charged 200 quid. And then I put like things over the fire alarm so that if the smoke went really bad, it wouldn't set them off, and did all of these dangerous things, made a phone call to my insurer, yada yada yada, put all these plans in place. And then the guys came with all the bits of equipment. We kind of roughed them up a little bit, did some like little bit of special effects makeup on them, and we created the pictures you've just seen there. And it worked really, really well. We had tons of fun doing it. It was a really good laugh on the session. And I know whenever anybody finds out that I shot those pictures, they always say to me, so what Photoshop brush did you use for that smoke? And I'm like, no, it's real smoke that we did. So after I did that, I started thinking, well, yeah, it makes sense. It's atomic, it's explosive, and that was just an off-the-cuff idea. And now it works really well for that part of their business. So now whenever we do their headshots on a repetition, it gets bigger and bigger. And then I started thinking after doing that session, hang on, I had a bit of a career in marketing before I even got into photography. That's branding that we did there. That's totally all the stuff I used to talk about all the time when I worked in an office in the marketing world. Oh, hang on a minute, I could use all of those skills, but through photography. And it was completely like light bulb moment, and it totally changed the way and direction of my business. So for me, that's why that's quite an important shoot. In terms of a biggest success story, I would hate to say that anything's a biggest success story. I don't think I'm going to be able to say what a biggest success story is until I'm like Keith Richards and I'm sitting on a desert island and I'm like in my 90s and I feel like I'm near the end of my photography career. I think most photographers, Tim, are always chasing the next session, and I feel like I'm like that now. And now that I'm just a headshots photographer, I've started to develop a bit of a wish list of the people that I want as clients and the people whose headshots I want to shoot. Maybe this could be a new series where I start sharing the people that I'm chasing down, the people whose headshots I want to get, and the people who I think I could help and the way that I want to shoot them, because it's different to the way that they're putting their photos out there. But I don't think I've got a bigger success story yet, and I don't want to say that I'm there yet. It's like when you see people on Instagram and they're 20 and they're calling themselves visionaries. They're not visionaries yet. I don't have a bigger success story yet, but I will have some bigger success stories, and I want to say that it's going to be like big actors. I definitely want to shoot some like big rock legends, and I want to keep going down the line of working with people in business with great business ideas and lots of ambition. People with ambition are really intriguing to me in terms of getting their headshot, because they have such clear vision and it really comes out through the photos. So yeah, thank you very much for this question. It's been a pleasure to answer it, and I'm so impressed that you managed to infuse so many questions in one question. That is a complete art form in itself. So this has been a really good seminal episode, the first of many, I hope. Let's see what happens for episode 20. It's coming soon. I can feel it in my bones, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks very much. Take care. Mwah.